Carolina, so I fly my flag in here. There's a lot of people come in and they hate it, but I love it.
Space wasn't big enough for my Texas flag.
That's just like saying, would you go to somebody's house and disrespect somebody's house? So I don't let them talk that. This is North Carolina house. But I got mutual love for him because we got to come to some playing ground, but his flag don't fly here. You have just embarked in flight deck control, the heartbeat of the Reagan right here. So this is where all the action is at. So just to give you a little overview on what goes on in flight deck control, we primarily execute under the air boss. The air boss is on the 09 level, which y'all gonna go probably up here in a little bit and see what happens when he gets in the air. He kind of dictates what's going on in the air within a certain nautical miles of the ship. Once it touches deck, I own it, or we own it, I should say. In flight deck control, you got a complement of people that work in here. You got the aviation fuels, responsible for all the fuels. You got your elevator operators, which is responsible for all this Ouija board.
Go boy.
You got the dog right here, who's the squadron representative for all the aircraft maintenance on board the ship and responsible for all the aircraft. You usually have an Ordy standing right behind you in the red, probably is going to give us dictate the load. Okay, over there to the right.
Yeah,
they're dictating the load of the aircraft when it comes down to ordnance, what configuration they need. And then I just manage all the aircraft movement from the flight deck and the hangar deck. If you look on the Ouija board right here, it's flight deck version. If you look down below, you got a hangar deck version. This is exactly what it looks like. Exactly what it looks like as you tour the ship. It's pretty much what it looks like real time from the flight deck and hangar deck. We got about four and a half acres of flight deck up here. As all these aircraft are up here, you see the little pins, and each one of them is telling something about the aircraft. Right now, we're currently launching the green. So all the green aircraft are going to be our next launches. So we're going to know those are the ones we're going to go. And the yellow is immediately following. So that'll be the next event. So that way it gives us a configuration on how we want to spot them. If you see them out here and they're flying, they got a yellow, that means they're going to be a turnaround for that next event. So when they touch down, they're going to basically get on the spot, do some quick maintenance, and they're going to go right back out. So it kind of gives the deck spotters an idea so they won't plug them somewhere far away where we can't get to them in a timely fashion.
306?
I don't know the actual length, but I know it takes about 2 to 2.5 seconds for an aircraft to get from beginning to end. So that's pretty quick. That's pretty much. I don't know the length of it in detail, but.
How many planes come up in an elevator load?
2. When you don't only run 6, but if like you're doing helicopters, you can get up to 3.
Everything.
The max capacity is like some massive number, 100 and some thousand.
No, it needs to go down.
They're up the longest. They're up the same pattern, but they're there solely for in-flight refueling. Now they can also pull from their internals also to support staying in the air a little longer, but that's what they're primarily for.
Do you have one
Growlers?
for out there?
The 500 series.
How many points of contact do you communicate with?
Sir, I communicate with everybody that's wearing a yellow shirt and a cranial out there. He's communicating on a different line, but he's communicating that pretty much half the people out there to a certain extent is wearing a headset. He's communicating to all the squadron liaisons. I'm communicating with the ship liaison, which are the yellow shirts primarily, and the launch and recovery crew. They all know when I got the agency, so when I speak, they all hear, and the boss is the only one that can override. Once again, this is the heartbeat, so everything comes through here that goes on their flight deck. If they going out there, they got to check in through here. Whatever maintenance requirements they have, we disseminating it through here, and we're coordinating from a lot of different angles. So this is primarily the most active place on the ship right here. So basically, pilots fly on, they got to do so many launches and recovery before they can start their day and night travel. So we got to run them through a series of just launching and recovery. But once we meet their requirements and they get proficient at it, then we go into this type of operation where we're supporting a mission-oriented base operation. From ordnance outfitting to the whole mission, big picture stuff. I can't stress it. This is a heartbeat. This is what everybody that comes out to a carrier, they want to see our carrier flight operations. And you will not be disappointed once you go out there.
We're expecting 2 more hits from the helo on the deck, and then we're going to have them airborne until 11:30 for training.
2 more hits after this one, and then 614 is going to be on actually take 710 up to spot 2. Okay, and then so they'll be on deck for combat 1620. Okay.
I made 3rd class, but if I want to make second,
should have had the thing about when we do cook, we have
The Three Presidents crew, the George Washington, will be coming from Japan to San Diego. 2/3 of the Reagan will go to the George Washington. 2/3 will come from the Washington to the Reagan, and then we'll take the ship over to Japan. And the George Washington will make its trip around the Horn, fly everybody back, and then the TR will show up in San Diego and do their little swap. Call it a day.
One of the yellow shirt to tell the pilot to hook up the hook. Once that happens, get the reach up to